Welcome. Give folks a second to join us. And welcome to day 3 of our training. All right, we're live in the QYJ Facebook group. Let's check on LinkedIn. Let me know how y'all are doing. I've got a surprise for you at the beginning of our training today. All right, we're on. Hey, everybody, Ellie here, founder of Big Sister and your trainer for this week, helping you find a way through any kind of uncertainty you're in when it comes to your career and helping you find what you want to do next. So that's really what we're going to focus on today. Hope you all are having a great Wednesday. I know for those of you who are joining live, you are taking time out of in the middle of your workday to think about, to kind of take a step back and kind of look at your career and look at your life from a higher perspective. So I really applaud you for doing that. I know that can feel really hard when you've got tons of messages coming at you like, this is urgent, this is important, this is more important. And the truth is, the fact is, yes, you may actually be in a work environment. You may have a boss or a manager who cares about your personal development and your career development, and they encourage you to kind of reflect and think about where you're going next. But for the vast majority of people I talk to, you don't have that. And you don't have anyone in your life, in your corner, telling you like, hey, let's really look at your career. Let's really look at like, are you where you want to be? Is this what you want to be doing? Is this giving you energy? Is this making you excited to wake up in the morning? I know when I was in jobs I was very drained by, waking up in the morning was like, it took a lot of work. It took a lot of writing gratitude lists and just trying to like make it work. I would write gratitude lists in the cubicle because I just couldn't see anything good about my environment. And of course, that's one thing you could do. But for me, no real change happened. No real change in how I felt in my day-to-day happened until I took serious steps and got clear about, okay, what do I actually want? You know, we've talked this week about how a lot of people focus on what they don't want and they don't focus on what they want. And you're losing energy when you focus on the things you don't want that you currently have. And you gain energy by focusing on creating the things that you do want in your life. So, welcome. And I'm super proud of all of you who are sticking with me this week. We're here on day 3. This is halfway through the training. Super proud of everyone who's taken action, who's gotten on a call with me, who has actually asked me some questions about QYJ. I said yesterday that program is now open for enrollment. So if you want to quit your job before this year ends, I highly recommend you take a look at QYJ. I've got the link. I'll add the link in the comments when we're done here. But you can also find that in the Facebook group. You can find that on LinkedIn as well already. And this training today is really to kind of set you up for success with that. But also, if you don't want to enroll in QIJ this round, this training is still going to help you move forward in the meantime. All right. So here we go. Surprise for you today. We're going to tap. We're going to do EFT tapping first. I didn't mention that anywhere, so surprise. But really, in thinking through this training, I realized, and just from talking to people this week, so many people, you know, like you're not fulfilled at your job, but it's really hard to say no to the money, to the benefits. It feels like you're not going to get anything better. And there's just a lot of emotional stuff there. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of confusion, just like, and there's also a lot of like people just don't, you know, it's unpleasant applying for jobs. It's unpleasant putting yourself out there. And it also depends on, you know, what you've heard about the job market right now. You know, I hear different things all the time, and it really depends on what you believe. You can believe right now the job market is the worst it's ever been in your whole lifetime, and tomorrow you can hear about someone you know getting a new job. That's the truth. So you can decide, are you going to believe in that message where you have absolutely no chance at creating what you want and you better settle? Or are you going to believe that, you know what, I can at least try? You know what, I think I deserve to have some semblance of peace in my career and in my life. And that's really up to you. And we talk more about shifting beliefs inside QIJ, but at least I want you to know that right now, I just want you to know that that's an option, that what we choose to believe it's all optional. We're all walking around with different sets of beliefs and different sets of results. Okay. I had a very nice day today. Yesterday was Grandma Tony's birthday. We celebrated. I ate 3 kinds of cake today. Not my normal approach to life, but not a problem. It was great. A lot of celebrating. So let's do some EFT tapping. If you've never done EFT before, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, here's your quick intro. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. This is a technique that uses the same acupressure points, the same meridian points on your body as acupressure, as acupuncture. But we do it with the hands. So you're going to be physically tapping on different parts of the body. If you don't have that ability with your hands, you can also use like a pen or just something else to kind of create that tapping sensation. The intensity of the tap would be something like if you're at a concert and you need someone to get out of your way and you tap them on the shoulder. That would be about how intense you might want to go. You can go more intense if you want to. And as we tap, you're going to repeat after me and you're going to say what I say and tap where I tap. And the reason we do this, so the goal of EFT tapping is to relieve feelings of stress, to relieve certain emotional states. So I've done tapping videos to help people overcome heartbreak. I've done tapping videos to help people. I've done one-on-one tapping sessions where we're working through symptoms of burnout and just feeling like someone just feels like they're ready to give up or feeling really overwhelmed or feeling really stressed. And tapping can also be used to work through some of the baggage around different beliefs you might have, different decisions you've made, regrets you have, and just help you release those things and move through them. So what we do first is I'm going to ask you right now in this moment. And by the way, later I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions that involve writing things down. So if you don't have a notebook, I recommend you just grab that right now. But I'll give you some time later to do that as well. You do need just a piece of paper and a pen right now for this tapping session. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, so we're going to do tapping on letting go of fear of leaving your unfulfilling job. Because fear keeps us stuck, and fear is completely fictional. Fear is about something that may or may not happen in the future, and the future does not exist. However, fear can in a very real way, hold you back from making progress. It feels very real. So we're going to let that go. If you want to let that go, tap with me. First thing before we get started, and I'll walk you through all the different body part points and everything you need to do. Don't worry about that. I want you to ask yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, how intense does this fear and any related emotions, maybe anxiety, something like that, how intense does that feel to you right now? So just checking, and 10 being like intolerable, so intense. So just check in with yourself, scale from 1 to 10. How intense does that fear of leaving your job feel right now? When you have a number, write that number down. So just write it down, and then we're going to get started on tapping, and then we're going to check on that number later on. All right? So we start here, side of the hand, and you just tap, just like this. And we're kind of letting the body know that we're getting started. And this is also a great embodiment tool. If you need to get a little bit more physically present in the body, this takes 10 minutes. You can do it anytime, you can do it every day. So as we tap, let's say, even though I feel this fear right now, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm feeling afraid right now, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And as we tap, really let yourself feel what's coming up for you. After we release it, we're going to tap on some positive affirmations. But for now, let yourself go there. So even though I'm feeling really nervous right now, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then just follow me. Here we go. So tapping inside of the eyebrows. I'm afraid of leaving my job. Side of the eyes. I'm afraid my boss will be mad at me. Under the eyes. I'm afraid of disappointing people. I need the money, and I feel stressed when I think about that. I feel confused. Collarbones. The thought of applying to more jobs feels overwhelming. Under the arm. I feel really hopeless. I don't believe there's something better for me out there. Top of the head. I feel so much pressure. I'm afraid of the unknown. There are things I hate about my job, but at least I have a job. But this doesn't feel like the right fit for me. I know I'm capable of more than this. And I feel so frustrated. Maybe I'm ready for a change. Maybe I'm ready to try something new. If this isn't working, maybe something else will. Other people I know have different jobs than me, and they still make money. I know people who love their jobs and make plenty of money. And if I do what I'm really good at, won't I be supported? The universe supports life. I see it every day. Maybe that includes me too. I am worth more than a survival job. I deserve to wake up feeling happy. And when I take the leap of faith, it always pays off exponentially. Okay, now take a deep breath. And ask yourself, on a scale from 1 to 10, how intense is that fear of leaving your job now? On a scale from 1 to 10, how intense is that? And go ahead and comment with your numbers. If you're watching either live or on the replay, go ahead and comment with your numbers. Where did you start and what are you at now? The goal is for you to be under a 3 at this point. If that's not the case for you, don't worry, it's okay. You just might need to keep tapping on the difficult thoughts and emotions. And you might find that there's something that a word, a memory that comes to your mind that I didn't touch on that's going to help you shift that perspective. And what you're doing by tapping is you're moving the blocked energy in your body. And emotions are energy. And when we resist what we feel, we're just putting it somewhere in the body. We're just putting the emotion somewhere in the body. And it's going to stay there until you allow yourself to feel it and move through it. And then in that space that we create by allowing ourselves to feel the feelings, acknowledging them, acknowledging that we're still worthy and whole even if we feel this way, right? The first time I ever did tapping, I actually originally learned about tapping from my therapist, and then I became certified as an EFT practitioner. But it stunned me. The phrase, even though I blank, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. In my world, that was not the case. My love for myself was conditional. And it's amazing how when you can let go, when you can acknowledge those things, accept those things about yourself, connect with your wholeness, the way you approach your career, the way you approach your relationships is going to be so much different. Because then you're not applying to new jobs to prove something. You're applying to new jobs because your current job isn't fitting your standards anymore, and that's okay. You don't need someone to affirm that you're okay. So I hope you enjoyed that tapping session. Let me know how that was for you. I'm super excited. I know a lot of people come to me for tapping because they've seen the shifts. I mean, again, like it takes minutes, and you feel different. You feel different, and it's a tool that allows you to feel more whole. Like we're not using tapping to like shut off how we feel. We're not using it to gosh, what's the phrase going around these days? It's not like a toxically positive bypassing thing. It's like, no, let's get really honest and acknowledge what's actually coming up here and let yourself feel the feelings of, frustration or difficulty or overwhelm or, feeling like just really stressed about all of this, because career is so important. Like, how many of us ask, why am I here? What's my purpose? And it's a lot of pressure. If you feel like you don't have the answers to that question and you don't know how to get there, right? So, really applauding all of you who tapped with me. And again, that's something you can do every day. I tap all the time. I tapped before this. Of course I did. I want my energy to be on point, right? Cool. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, now that we've kind of found this new, like neutral, positive place within, let's talk about how to create a clear vision for your next steps in your career. So if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you are ready to leave your job, you're not happy, and you just need help figuring out what's next. What does that look like? What are your action steps? And that's where I come in and help you find ways to manage your emotions, manage your mind, and actually implement strategies that work to help you either get a new job or start your own business. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So let's talk about how people usually approach making a change in their lives. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to try out another new thing. Don't you love it? Oh, always try new things. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen here. Let's see. Can people see it? I don't know if I can share my screen and double check that, but I want to see if people can. Maybe leave a comment if you see my Zoom screen. You should be able to. Okay, cool. You can. All right, thank you. So typically when someone wants to make a change, and you can use this is called the logical levels of change or the logical levels of the mind. You can use this pyramid to make any change you want. If it's losing 5 pounds, if it's making more money, if it's getting into a new relationship, you can use this pyramid. Now, the problem is most people, when they want to make a change, they start at the bottom of the pyramid. They say, okay, I really want to, let's say, lose 5 pounds, or let's say lose 50 pounds. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my environment. I'm going to go out, I'm going to buy a yoga mat, I'm going to get a gym membership, I'm going to read a bunch of books on losing weight, I'm going to follow a bunch of Instagram accounts on losing weight, and I am going to get inspired and make this change. Nothing wrong with inspiration, but when you start from the bottom of the pyramid, what happens is you're trying to make a change, and we talked about this yesterday, right? When you make a new decision, you're a different person. You've changed as a person, which is why worrying about the future is so silly, because the version of you that's going to hit that future point literally doesn't exist. Crazy. We're changing all the time. And so when people start with the bottom of the pyramid, they're trying to force a change on themselves from where they are now. So if you are currently someone who is, let's say, 50 pounds overweight, you don't currently have the resources or really the access to the resources you need, including inner resources. You don't currently access the resources you need to live that life, to live that lifestyle of someone who weighs 50 pounds less. You don't currently have that, what is it? It's not even a skill set. It's just a mindset. It's an approach to life. So the version of you who loves their job is not the same as the version of you currently who's unfulfilled at their job. So what we need to do is we need to bridge those two things. And by starting at the bottom of the pyramid, you're not creating that change. You're just kind of putting some new, all I can think of is lipstick on the pig. It upsets me, but that's what came to mind. You're not making a core change. You're just kind of changing something external to you and hoping that will fix something, right? So let's say you continue this approach. You change your environment and then you change your behavior. You're like, I'm going to do yoga 3 times a week, and then maybe you do yoga twice that week and it's all over, right? Like you're trying to take these new actions, but again, something deeper down isn't there yet. So then you might try upping your skills in some way, which would be let's switch the example back to career. You might take a course. You might take a certification on LinkedIn or on Google, or on you take a class through General Assembly, and in the hopes that it will change something about your approach, and maybe it will. Okay, totally. If you feel like guided, if you feel led, if you feel motivated to do those things, great. The issue is the top of the pyramid. The top two of the pyramid are the most important parts of the pyramid. One is your identity. If you're trying to get a promotion, but your identity is still your current role, if you're trying to quit your 9 to 5 and turn your side hustle into a full-time business, but your identity is employee, not employer, not boss, not CEO, you're gonna have major problems making that change. And as you already know, I don't believe in failure. Failure is not a thing, but you have to make that change on an identity level. And then the question comes up too of like, how do you stay motivated? So many people are asking, how do I stay motivated in doing the things that I know are good for me? Why can't I just do the things I know are good? Why can't I just, make this change? Why can't I do this thing that I know I should be doing? And it's because on an identity level, you're stuck in the identity you currently have. And at the very top of the pyramid, you've got your mission. And some of these logical levels, instead of mission, they might say like, purpose or like spirituality. It's sort of like at your core, why are you doing any of this at all? Like, what's the point? We're all gonna die, 100% fact, maybe not Elon Musk, but we're gonna die. Okay, we've got a finite amount of time on this earth in this lifetime. So why? What's the point? Why are you, and I'm not saying that like there's no point. I'm saying that like, can you dig deep and find out, why do I want to have a different job? And maybe it's something like, I love my family and I want to spend time with them. My kids are getting older. I want to be proud of myself. I don't want to hold myself back with BS from the past. I really want to live up to my potential. Your mission also, chances are, if you're really being true to like in your heart, like leading from the heart, your mission involves helping other people. It involves improving something about someone else's life. So the right way to approach this change, to help you create your crystal clear vision for what you want to do next in your career, is to flip this pyramid upside down. I'm not actually going to do that. Wait, maybe I can. Hold on. No, that's not useful. Because the text is upside down too. So we're going to flip the pyramid upside down. So here's where you have your notebook and you're taking and you're writing this down. And I actually encourage you to draw this pyramid and start with the mission. Or if you want, spirituality, my why, like your core, like why? Why do I want to create this new thing in my life? And if right now that answer is, I am so sick of this and I'm done dealing with this, I want more for my life, just write that down. No judging, there's no right answer. I'm not going to call on anyone. Although, if someone does want to volunteer, I'd love to hear your why. But no pressure. So we start with the mission. We start with the deepest level. And here's where, and if you need more time, the replay will be available later. Feel free to really take the space you need to, again, make this training as valuable for yourself as you possibly can. Especially if you're taking the time to watch this, like you might as well take the time to really ask yourself these questions. And my style of working with people, working with professionals, is from the perspective, I approach every client relationship from the perspective that you have the answer you need, and it's my job to clear the I don't knows and I'm not sures and what if I fail, clear those out of the way. So the next step is going to be this to me is like, okay, yeah, this is so important because this is going to make achieving your goal easier. Because you're going to stop banging your head against the wall as who you are right now. And who you are right now is fabulous. Okay? You've made it so far. You've made it through so many challenging things. And to get to the next level, you're going to change. So the next question is, and really like take a moment here, maybe take a deep breath and ask yourself, who do I need to be? The version of me who has left this job and is now doing what I absolutely love, something I absolutely love. There's no assumption there's just this one thing you must find in the universe. You have so many options, rich opportunities. Who do I have to be? That version of me who has left this job already. So you're doing some kind of mental time traveling. The version of me who has already left this job and created exactly what she wants. And you can focus on, the next level. But if it's more exciting to you, focus on like the pinnacle. Focus on the version of you who's made it. In reality, there's no such thing as making it. There's no final, grandstand. There's no final place where you stand there with your trophy unless you're at the Olympics. But think about that version of you that's just so exciting to you. What is their identity? What are they like? You can even think about, how do they dress? How do they feel about themselves? What time do they get up in the morning? How do they respond to people? How do they walk into a room? Do they walk into a room with their head down? Do they walk into a room with their shoulders back and their head up, making eye contact with people? Who is that person? And you might find if you let yourself answer these questions, you might find you actually have a vision of this person. You actually have a vision of yourself. Because what we're talking about is you. And on a subconscious level, time does not exist. So what you're doing is you're tapping into a version of you that very much exists now. She's just waiting for you to step into this version of you. So that's the identity piece. Now we're moving down the pyramid, right? So this version of you who has left this job, it's in the rear view. It's something that, oh yeah, I used to like make those decisions that didn't feel good to me. That version of you who's left this unfulfilling job and now has created something incredible, whether it's, a leadership role in a new company, whether it's your own business. What does that version of you believe about her ability to succeed or their ability to succeed? What do they believe about work? What do they believe about money and making money? What do they believe about wealth? Maybe they don't care about it at all. Maybe they believe it's good. I don't know. You know. What do they believe? And if you did the writing exercise from yesterday, you already know what you currently believe about your ability to achieve your goal. And if you don't know exactly what your goal is, that's okay. I want you to, if you did know, what is it? I want you to just go with kind of your gut on this. This isn't a set in stone final thing. This is like in your gut, what's something that would feel exciting to create or would feel less horrible? I know sometimes if you're like really in the trenches, the idea of like, what is exciting? What lights me up is like, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know what you like to do anymore, which I totally get. That version of you who has succeeded, basically, is feeling good, uh, doesn't deal with burnout at all, has boundaries, does self care, connects deeply with themselves, whatever those things are. What are their values? What is that version of you? What are their values in life in general? And with my clients, I usually do a values exercise around their values now as well. What are your values? So many people don't know what their values are. So, that version of you who has made it, what are their values? I know one thing that's really important to me is feeling like I'm connected to something bigger than myself. I don't like feeling like I call all the shots in my life. I believe that life is lived through me, that I'm actually connected to all of life, and that I actually am so interconnected with you and with everything that exists that I'm not working on my own ever. I'm always being guided. I'm always, noticing, oh, like, where am I feeling encouraged? Where are people wanting my help? So that's an important value for me. And the version of me who's at my next level, even more so, she's even more unapologetic about that. So, that version of you, what are their values? And as you do this, as you meditate on this and write down your answers, you might find that version of you is getting clearer and clearer and more familiar to you. So, that version of you who's succeeded in reaching this goal, what skills do they have? And here is where you can get really intentional about how you upskill, how you increase your skills. Because you're gonna know that version of you who has succeeded, what skills do they have? And if over and over your mind says, I don't know, just go ahead and just pretend I'm asking you, okay, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what is the answer? The ego loves uncertainty. It keeps us stuck where we are. And the ego's main role is to reinforce our current identity. So it's always going to throw in resistance into this process. So, what skills does the version of you have? What resources does that version of you have? It could be inner resources, it could be, perseverance, grit, sense of humor. Outer resources, it could be maybe they have help. Maybe they have a nanny or an assistant or, um, some other way where maybe they have different financial resources. And when you think about skills and resources too, I want you to ask yourself, do you know anyone currently in your life who has made this change? Do you know anyone currently in your life? You don't have to know them personally at all, just someone who's made an impression on you. That is kind of one benefit of social media is we have more of these like archetypes, models coming toward us. Often it can be very uncomfortable because it's, you can compare yourself and feel bad and all those things. But if you know someone who's made the change you want to change, what resources do they have that help them succeed? And this is based on what you perceive. You don't have to specifically know this person. What resources do they have? While you are writing, I'm going to just check on everyone. Make sure we're all good. Super proud of all you guys who are doing this work. This is incredibly powerful stuff. Take advantage. The version of you who has succeeded, what are their behaviors? Maybe they do go to yoga 3 times a week. Maybe and it can be behaviors that are completely unrelated to work. It can be like lifestyle choices. Maybe they never have meetings after lunch. Imagine that. Maybe they don't even have meetings every day. Wow. I'm not a meeting person myself. So, what are their behaviors? And you can also get into this too with like what time do they wake up? What's their daily routine? I know the other day I was walking, I was visiting Israel and I was walking downtown and I was in a just like a funny mood, like a negative mood, which is fine. But I was like, okay, the version of me who has the level of, success that I foresee, that I want, the level of just fulfillment in life, what would she be doing right now? And the answer instantly came to me. She would be so grateful. She would just be so grateful. She would be she'd be really grateful for everything. Like, getting to see the displays in the store windows, getting to walk in a place where she felt, reasonably safe. It was warm, the energy was good outside. And she would be grateful, and she would also constantly be thinking, how can I contribute something to someone else? How can I, make someone's day better? How can I give back? Even though you're not giving back to someone who has given something to you, how can I give back out of gratitude for all the amazing things I've gotten to experience in my life, including the difficulties that I've made it through, including the person I am today as a result of the hard times in the past. So you can take this with you. You can put it in your pocket. You can take it out anytime. My clients have the version of themselves who has achieved success. They're constantly thinking about that person and becoming that person. And that's what we do in QIJ. We build out this identity even more, and we give you the tools to where you are embodying this person every day. And when you do this, it's so funny. Your problems get smaller and your opportunities start coming in, and you just start being able to say yes to things that are coming to you because you are now a different person. You're embodying a different version of yourself. And then the final piece in this pyramid is, of course, the environment. So instead of starting with buying the yoga mat and hoping it'll change you as a person, which don't get me wrong, yoga's great. Yoga can totally change you as a person, but making it a sustainable part of your life. What kind of environment does the version of you who has quit this job that isn't serving you, what kind of environment do they work in? That's one of the first things I wrote down when I was really finally starting to focus on what I wanted instead of this job that was sucking the life out of me. One of the first things I wrote down was the kind of environment I want to work in. And the kind of things I want to do, the kind of contributions I want to make, but the kind of environment. So, just ask. And if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling like you're stuck in your head, you can also just ask that version of you in your head and ask for the answer and wait for the answer. What we're doing here is we're unlocking resources inside you that you're just not tapping into yet. You were tapping into these new parts of you. So if you followed along with me, you've written down a ton. If you're still writing, that's okay. You can keep writing, but know that this replay will be available. And for those who are enrolling or have enrolled in QIJ, we're going to talk about this much, much more. And you're going to get tools for making this, again, just like a regular part of your life until you literally are this version of you. Like I am the version of me who I wanted to be at some point. There was a point in my life and in my career where I couldn't have imagined going live on one platform, let alone three, and sharing my expertise. That would be unfathomable. I probably was like, what would I even talk about? I'd have to prepare for hours and hours and hours. I remember the first time I ever went live on Instagram, I was so nervous. I was so nervous to go live that I just did a live video of a cherry blossoms, like a cherry tree. So it was like March of some year. And I just did like a live video of just to do it, just to like get that first one out of the way. And I was just so nervous. But the version of me I wanted to be had no problem expressing herself, especially with the goal, with the mission to help other people find their purpose, to help other people express themselves, to help other people stop holding themselves back. Because at the end of the day, you have the choice. You get to decide. There's nothing wrong with deciding to stay in the career that you have now. There's nothing wrong with listening to the voice in your head that says you're not going to find anything better. You're not good enough to get hired somewhere else. You don't have the experience. You're never going to make this much money doing something you enjoy. You can choose to listen to that voice in your head. That is the voice of limitation. That is the voice of scarcity, and that is the voice of it's not going to make you happy to listen to that voice. It's not going to make you happy to listen to that voice. And maybe if you're in a place where you need to survive right now, you need to just make this work for now, maybe that's okay. But if you want more for yourself, if you want more for your career, there's another voice inside your head. It's actually inside your heart. And this voice is saying, this isn't it. I'm meant for more than this. My experience, my expertise, my skills should be recognized, and they're not being recognized right now. It's the part of you that wants that maybe that thing that feels risky, but it just sounds so fun. It just sounds good. Like, yeah, I just want to start this business. I don't know, I'm obsessed with pottery. And that's not a guarantee that, I'm obsessed with pottery. I'm going to start this pottery business and I'm going to be the one, right? I'm going to succeed for forever until I die at this pottery business. It means you're listening to kind of that voice of truth within you, and it's going to lead you where you need to go. Maybe the end game is being a successful potter. Maybe it's just, it leads you to where you need to go. It leads you down an authentic career path, a career path that's far more abundant than what you're experiencing right now, because abundance includes not only financial abundance, not only PTO, not only the benefits, it includes how you feel outside of work. It includes, when I'm with my family, am I really present with them? Or do I feel like I need to be working because my boss is on my case and this is happening, there's this deadline and I got to do this? Abundance is how you feel about yourself. Abundance and fulfillment is, do I have time to do things just for fun? And do I have the freedom to do things without watching the clock? How many of us never have just an afternoon where we're just not even looking at the clock? We're just kind of living, just experiencing life. Having the freedom. I mean, to me, part of abundance and fulfillment is having the freedom to say, I don't really need to hit any of my goals. I'm good. There was a time in my life when I wrote down, I was doing the artist's way. And it was kind of part of my big mindset, personal development, started my journey before I became a coach. And I remember writing down, if I was totally crazy, I would spend a year in a monastery. And if I was like a little bit crazy, I would spend like 3 months or a month. It was a month in living in a monastery because it's just a thing that I love. I'm a nerd for monasticism, desert fathers, mothers, Zen Buddhism. I just find it really fascinating, and I connect with it a lot. And it informs my coaching as well, and I am a meditation teacher too. So of course, I've gotten a lot of practice in that. But it was a dream, and it was something I never thought I could do, because the average job has what, 2 weeks of paid vacation. And some jobs, and I've worked at, I worked for startups where it was unlimited vacation, but like, let's be real, the company culture is not unlimited vacation. You have work to do. You can't, unlimited vacation is not real. I think by now we know this. And so it was a dream, but I never thought, when is that going to happen? And this, what was it? I went in May 14th to the end of June this year. I was living in a Zen monastery up in Northern California. And it was freaking awesome. It was freaking amazing. And there was, the old version of me would have had so much fear and so much like, you can't do that. Like, what about money? What about your job? What about relationships? What about all these different things? Like, you don't get to just go do what you want to do deep down inside. And because of the work I've done, the same work I'm recommending to you, I've done it myself. I take my own medicine, and I have to, because if I'm not walking the talk, I'm not going to be able to help other people. I'm not going to speak from a place of conviction and genuinely believing in what I do if I'm not actually experiencing the results of what I do. And I can tell you, the version of me now clearly had very little problem being like, yep, that's what I'm going to do, because it's my life. It's my life, and that's what I want to do, so that's what I'm going to do. And if you want the same freedom to, maybe it's not to live in a monastery for 6 weeks, not everyone's cup of tea, I know that. But maybe it's something else. Maybe you want to take a trip with your family. Maybe you want to help your parents retire. Maybe you want to, buy a boat. I don't, live in a trailer, live in an RV. Live closer to your kids, whatever it is. Just know that like, this work can help you get there. And it is, a lot of people come to, they want to hire a coach to give them the playbook, the strategy, just tell me what to do, just tell me what works. And the truth is, if you want to make long lasting change, that after you're done with coaching, I mean, you can work with a coach for years if you want, but my goal for you is to walk away from working with me with everything you need, with the tools you need, with the confidence you need, having healed internally what you need to heal to help you achieve your goals. And not just the goal you come in here with, not just the goal you come into QIJ with, but any goal you have in your life. Because, there are many different parts of our lives where we might want to make an improvement, right? So I really want to hear from you. Comment, let me know how this was for you. In my personal opinion, this was a very powerful training, and I'm excited to hear how this impacts you. And the rest of this week, I mean, later today, literally let today be your opportunity to step into that version of you who has that level of success you desire. So just make even one little decision, do one little thing differently. If you're the kind of person right now who works through lunch and you feel like, well, actually, maybe we're watching this on your lunch break, I don't know. If you're the kind of person who like does something, try doing it differently today and see what happens and see how you feel. I'm loving that I get to be on this journey with you. And again, the doors are officially open for QIJ, stands for Quit Your Job. It's the 3-month signature group coaching program from my company, Big Sister, where we are going to be meeting every week for 3 months. And it's an easy thing to do. The commitment's about an hour and a half per week. It's an hour meeting, and then you're going to have some other work you do. And it's also a chance for you to really focus on what you want in your career. Really find like, what is my purpose? Really actually get an answer to that question that feels authentic to you. So if you want to know more about that, I'm going to include the link wherever you're watching this video, and you can actually enroll today. And when you enroll, you will get immediate access to your course bonuses. One of the bonuses for this round is a $200 discount in the program. So if you want that discount, now is the time to enroll. Doors are going to be open for a few more days, but there is a 7 participant cap. So at 7 participants, we're closing enrollment because I want this to be an intimate group where we get to be really honest and cheer each other on, and so that I can serve you at the highest level. When I work with one-on-one coaching clients, I work with like maybe 2 or 3 at a time because it's such a high energy commitment for me to hold space for you and to keep up with you and just make sure that everything's going well on both of our ends. So super excited for that. If you have any questions, you're also welcome to book a call with me and just get on my calendar for 30 minutes and we can talk about any questions you might have about QIJ, about working together. If you feel like you're not sure if you even know, if you're like, I don't even know what I want, but I feel like I want to work with you, get on a call with me and we can talk about if this program is the right fit for you. And if it's not, there are other options as well. And I think by now I'm not a scary, pushy person. I believe in your wisdom that you have inside of you. And so I'm really excited to create something that is a win for both of us. So I'm going to include that link as well